All right. So yesterday I looked and we're on session 11 now. When he sat down to dinner, he did not actually expect the princess to join him again. He had had a place set for her in case, but after the previous meal he thought perhaps she'd stick to her cell. So when she appeared, radiant even in the slightly dirtier blue dress, a flush of warmth ran down the back of his neck. He couldn't give her the friendly smile he'd wanted to. She'd probably take it as false anyway. But he offered a cool nod, which she did not return. Sirocco hovered over her shoulder, clearly looking for a chance to gloat. Gav dismissed him with a nod, to the steward's visible disappointment. The goblins appeared with their trays and whisked lids off plates identical to the night before. The nearly rare meat was still excellent. It might have been nice to have some kind of accompaniment, bread perhaps, or a vegetable of some kind, or a sweet after. He supposed that would be out of character, though, and forced down another sigh. There was only so much one could expect from a goblin chef. They ate in silence. This time, at least, he had had the princess's steak sliced into bite-sized pieces before being brought up. He had been proud of that bit of forethought, but she didn't say anything. Just sipped at her nearly black wine. The tannins would have been unbearable if not for the richness of the beef. But then a lighter wine also did not meet the appropriate standards. I don't think you can see him back there. No, you can't. The dog was doing circles on the bed. But the big dog, not the little one. But then a lighter wine also did not meet the appropriate standards. He wondered how many bottles of the ludicrously dark stuff his real self had stocked away in the cellars. She stared at him over the rim of her glass. Finally she spoke. "What made you do it?" He raised an eyebrow. He'd practiced the gesture before coming down to dinner. It made him look suitably saturnine. And he had been pleased to discover. "I already said I was not ready to share my plans with you. Did you think I would forget so quickly?" She shook her head. "Not kidnap me. Become evil in the first place. Did you wake up one day and say to yourself, 'I think I'll be someone's nightmare'? Did something terrible drive you to this, or did you just curdle in the womb?" He wrapped his hand around the stem of his wine-glass to keep it from trembling. Surely she could not see the whiteness of his knuckles from all the way up across the long table. He did not feel particularly evil. He did not have a deep urge to flay someone alive and laugh while doing it. But clearly he had. He had lost connection with whatever made him himself. If a human was made up of the experiences of their life, was Gav anything at all? He forced himself to meet her eyes and wished that he hadn't. He saw the evil him, his real self. No, let's try that again. She saw the evil him, his real self had worked so hard to cultivate. Maybe everyone was like that. Who was she, but really beneath her facade of a princess? He was muttering something before he realized what he was saying. A spell, he realized too late. One that would give him, at least, true sight. Something that he'd used regularly. Stupid, stupid. He couldn't keep reacting instead of making conscious decisions to act. What was he supposed to do with this? Why would she be anything other than what she appeared to be? Except something was fighting the spell. He stood slowly. As he paced across the room, the sensation of resistance increased. It was almost a buzzing. His eyes narrowed. Hers widened. She stood up as he got within arm's reach. "There's something not right with you, isn't there?" he said. "Me?" She half laughed, half gasped. "You're the one saying there's something wrong with me?" He leaned closer, trying to figure out the source of the buzzing. She pulled her hand back to slap him, But this time he was expecting something and caught her wrist. It was there, the ring. "Don't," she said as he yanked it off her finger. She transformed before his eyes, not to a totally different person. The changes were subtle. The gloriously golden curls dulled to a more of an ashy light brown, a bit on the frizzy side. Her porcelain skin acquired a touch of blotchiness. The delicate features coarsened just a bit. Her eyelashes paled to match her hair, no longer framing her eyes so dramatically. Her waist thickened a little and her hips narrowed a tad. She looked like the princess's dowdier wallflower cousin, still part of the same family if anyone ever bothered to notice her. Her eyes still flashed with intelligence, though. Intelligence and rage. "Give it back," she growled. "Are you even the Princess Alicia?" he asked, stupefied. "No, I'm not," she said. "You figured it out. I'm a decoy. Can I go home?" For a heart-stopping second, he believed her. Gavarax was as incompetent as Valvina and Zaraconar clearly believed, and he had kidnapped the wrong woman. But this close, he could see the tension in her shoulders, the shallowness of her breathing. Her eyes darted around his face, looking for clues, not meeting his gaze. That wasn't what a carefully planted decoy would have said in this situation. "No, you are the princess," he said slowly, "but you were wearing a glamour. Why?" She dropped back into her chair, crossing her arms again. She glared at him. Then she looked aside. "Have you ever seen my parents?" "Can't say I have," he said carefully. "Well, they're gorgeous, both of them, from their golden curled heads to the tips of their toes, and so are my siblings, all four of them. I'm the runt of the litter. Father couldn't bear the idea of one of Baribano, the Golden's children, being less than perfect. So he had the white wizard Artheno make me the ring. I haven't had it off my hands since I was 8. Gav could think of a few reasons why a child might not look exactly like at least one parent, specifically the father. He started to say something and then shut his mouth. Too late. She saw it. "Yes, I'm sure I'm his," she said, rolling her eyes. Dismissive, yes, but not as shocked or offended as he would have expected. He wondered how many times she'd answered this question. "Even though all of his byblows, or at least the 3 that I know about, have the same damn golden hair. Apparently I'm the spitting image of his maiden aunt. Also, at least 6 confirmation spells have been run over the years, and those are just the ones they told me about." "Well, that must have been hard growing up," he said quietly. "Did I say I wanted sympathy from someone like you? That's rich," she said. "Boo-hoo, I had a hard childhood. You'll notice I didn't turn evil." "You know nothing of my childhood." Neither did he. But he was pretty sure that no matter how many times she had had her identity questioned, no royal brat could have faced anything like the angry, throbbing wounds he could just barely feel at the edges of where his memories had been ripped away. No stones or bare feet for someone like her. "It doesn't matter what your childhood was like. There's nothing that could justify what you've done." Her icy hauteur had burned away in humiliation and rage. Rage flashed through him as well, feeling a familiar and deeply comforting in an uncomfortable way that he could not define. No, she was baiting him. He needed her even if he couldn't remember why. "That is hardly relevant," he ground out. "This meal is over." "Give me my ring," she demanded. He could have withheld it. It would have hurt her to be seen as she actually was. But as he opened his mouth to refuse, he thought of something that would hurt her even more. He slammed the ring into her hand. "See that you always wear it." He turned on her stricken face, not waiting for the guards to escort her back. He knew, as he left, that he was retreating. She had won this round with a few sentences, even if he wounded her at the end. Resentment coiled in his breast, hot and tight, and shame. He shoved the shame down. Good, clean rage would be better. When he reached his workshop, he locked the door, and then he started redrawing the runes. That'll do for today.